Gente, let me tell you something. Boy, do I have the story for y'all today. Now, forgive me, I had to take a little bit of a break. I got the bubonic plague of February 2026, like a lot of people did, and I'm just now feeling better. It's been about like 3-4 weeks. And so, with that being said, I am going back to ruffling a few feathers, as I oftentimes do. But I want to talk about a feather that I recently ruffled in particular, okay? So, to add a little bit of context, right? On my social media, specifically my YouTube, TikTok, not so much on my Instagram because I try not to post like really long videos on Instagram. I talk about a lot of things, okay? From sports to fashion to politics, religion, you name it. I talk about it. Dusties, sassy men, it doesn't matter. If I have an opinion on it, I'ma say it, okay? So, but right now, what I've chosen to focus on is leaning towards politics, racism, and I've chosen to call out white people because I am of the belief, and I will stand 10 toes down on this statement, that all the issues that are currently being brought to the surface in America, they could be solved if white people started taking personal accountability for the hatred and cruelty that resides in their own communities. Right? If they started talking about the violence that resides in their own communities, if they started facing their demons, where does this hatred for Black people, brown people, people of a different culture, people that look different, where does all that like racism and prejudice and hatred come from, right? I stand 10 toes down on that statement. And this lovely little email that I just received that I'm about to read to y'all hilariously proved my point and what I was talking about in these videos, okay? Like, it's sad. Now, I usually don't pay mind to things like this, you know what I mean? But this one struck a chord with me because this particular email that I'm about to read to y'all came from a coworker. Someone in very close proximity to me. So this coworker, mind you, made a fake email, then decided to impersonate another coworker just to send me the following email, okay? Are y'all ready? Because it's a doozy. You dumb bitch, you work at blank, then have the audacity to talk shit about whites constantly. First off, you are not Black. You are mixed and light-skinned as fuck. Blacks don't accept you, and neither do whites. Your anger is mostly from not being loved by your birth parents and the resentment you have towards your adoptive parents. That is painful for anyone, but now as an obese adult, you try to glamorize your weight, play up your minimal talent, and sound like a politician by pushing your militant mindset onto the masses. At least articulate your point well. Go get involved in a college debate club where you can work it out. Educate yourself. It is clear you have no degree and talk out of your ass. Don't take a job at the whitest place in the state and expect respect as a person of mixed race. Blank is not a fair place to work, and you know this. You will not change the world with your bitchy anger. You will change it by inspiring others, a talent and gift you simply do not possess. Try getting some singing gigs before calling yourself an artist. Indeed, you are a fat bitch. The whole angry Lizzo schnick is taken. Try another approach. We need happy people in this world, not power cunts. You have a right to your feelings, but you are not an authority on anything. Stop, girl. Let's take a brief moment of silence for this doozy, okay? Again, mind you, a coworker who decided to impersonate a coworker sent me this email. Yeah. Ooh, where to begin on this one? Now, a few things, right? I find it interesting because this clearly was written by an angry white person, right? I angered this white person. But Black and brown people, raise your hands. Especially those of us who have chosen to speak out on racism, basic human rights, our political climate, social issues, whatever it is, raise your goddamn hand if in doing so, you have received this type of backlash from a white person. A white person that took it way beyond, like, I have no words. Like, I mean, the most unhinged, like, what on earth is this? Raise your hand. And you know what? To be honest, this is child's play. I've gotten way worse in my email. I've gotten way worse in my comment sections, okay? The only reason, again, why I'm choosing to address this one is because this came from someone in very close proximity to me. Someone that I was nice to, someone that I talked to almost every single shift that I work with them. We bonded over fashion. We bonded over the fact that she too was adopted and disclosed to me, oops, that she was institutionalized on multiple occasions because of her mommy issues and because of that ordeal, okay? And I got something to say about that. Make no mistake, this was written by someone who's mentally ill, okay? Who's mentally unstable. And I know that when it comes to mental illness, it's a very touchy subject for a lot of people, but we are here in society having people like this just all around us bleeding on everybody because they refuse to heal or whatever they're doing is not working. And we have to be subjected to this type of behavior because of their mental illness. Because make no mistake, and I'm gonna repeat myself again, normal people, mentally stable people do not do these type of things. Normal people might think it, okay? Let's be honest. We've had similar thoughts about people around us, but that's where it stops, right? It stops here. We would never cyber stalk a coworker because this person spent time on my Instagram, my YouTube, then they went to my personal website, spent time on my website, and then sent me this email via my contact me page, right? Okay, that's crazy in and in itself, right? But for you to make a fake email, impersonate management, because she put the names of my managers in this email, then on top of that, impersonate another coworker just to harass me? Normal people don't do this. This is mental illness. I hope this person gets professional help. And to my knowledge, she was. And baby, it ain't working. Because again, let me repeat myself, normal, mentally stable people do not do these type of things. Seek help. Jesus. A lot of personal accountability goes out the window when we talk about mental illness, but it needs to be talked about. And you know what? These people need to be held accountable. Even if you want to blame it on their mental illness, you know what? It's a free country. This is America, 2026. There are options out there for people like this to seek help. Because it's not fair that so many of us who do seek help, who do heal, who do manage whatever mental illness is, mental whatever, because this is America, you know, we're all dealing with something at this point. You know, it's not fair for those of us who do the work to have to constantly deal with people like this. Damn straight, I'm angry. I am so angry. I know I speak for a lot of Latino people when I say this past year and a half has been rough. When I think about what could potentially be happening to people who look like me, who speak the language that I speak. Have y'all heard about the story in Texas where they're separating young girls from their families, putting them in a separate detention center? Young girls, the ages of 13 to 18, separating them from their families. That doesn't anger you? I see the videos all the time of people carrying passports, their birth certificates, identification, you know, Latino people, brown people, just in case, which that's not stopping ICE agents from scooping them up from the streets anyway, right? Because American citizens who quote unquote, like these dumbasses want to constantly say did it the right way, they're still getting scooped up. Don't forget, people are still disappearing from these concentration camps. That makes me angry. Damn straight it makes me angry. And then on my other side, I have my Black folks who have given so much to America, who are the foundation of America. They built America. Their contributions to everything, you know, athletics, education, music, entertainment, innovation, science, you name it. Black people have been there. Black American influence is something that is echoed throughout the world. And yet in America, people still see them as second-rate citizens. They still just put them in this tiny box of criminals and being violent, and they're subjected to a hatred and cruelty that is unmatched because of the color of their skin, the texture of their hair. Again, maybe a different culture. That makes me angry. A woman can't even post on the internet without having mediocre cowards like this person attacking her from head to toe when that has nothing to do with nothing. Yes, I'm angry. You should try it sometime. You know, part of my healing rehabilitation, and it is something that I'll have to do for the rest of my life, is not displacing my anger. It's not trying to tone down my anger. It's just making sure that I use my anger as something constructive, not destructive, like it might have been when I was younger and I couldn't control this fire that I have in my chest. And so it would get me in trouble. I was always losing things. I was always so angry. And you know what? Something that I've had to realize about myself is I'm always going to be angry, and I have every right to be angry. I just have to make sure that that anger goes towards something constructive that progresses me forward instead of having me regress backwards like it can do and like it often does for a lot of people who can't control it. I get that. So I will never apologize for being angry. I could be angrier, okay? I could be angrier. Now, moving on though. What I found interesting as well is this white mean girl, because this gives off mean girl energy. You know, she decided to impersonate one of my only Black coworkers, which I'm like, really? You know, that was a choice. And clearly it didn't come off that way because, number one, Black people don't refer to Black people as the Blacks. That's a white person trait. To take the word people out and just refer to them as the Blacks, the this, the that, whatever, it dehumanizes them, which is a trait of white people in America. Okay, first of all, this man is the nicest, sweetest, kindest person, always laughing with people, always talking with everybody. I know he would have never said these things to me or about me. And also, like, I wouldn't say I had a work bestie at this job, but if I had one, he would have been it. You know what I mean? We constantly, you know, talked about him cutting out like Diet Coke and stuff because he was trying to lose a few pounds. Like, you know, he was trying to, you know, because I've been losing weight and stuff. And so I've been telling him about like my workouts and stuff. And he was telling me that, like, you know, he needs to get at the gym like me. And also, this man's a little bit older than me. I highly doubt that he could name a Lizzo song, let alone maybe a few, to gauge what her personality is, her persona. And also, biggest like tell, English isn't even his first language. It's like, I know she was trying to deflect, you know, maybe just to make sure that I wouldn't figure out that it was this person, but she chose the most sweetest, kindest person that it could never, which is very telling of white people. And you know what? I was gonna chill out on the white folks because I know I've been posting quite a few videos on them, but I got a few more things to say now.